Okay, this is going to be a little bit different, mainly because I've never done a commentary video before. This isn't my style. This is not how I usually do things. However, I have been so incredibly inspired by a particular film release that you may have heard of. I saw this film on the day of its release, Friday last week at the time of recording this. It's possibly one of my favourite films of all time now, especially favourite horror film. Like, it blew me out of the water. I did not know what my expectations were for the film. And to me, Markiplier had already proven himself as a good director and a good performer because of his, like, Heist with Markiplier and Space with Markiplier. He does good shit with that. He's very good at it. He's always been good. He's always been a good performer, in my opinion. He's always been very good at directing. He's always had these sort of rough directing chops in these small senses, I guess. Like, sometimes in his own videos, he has these bits. He's good. He's a very good creative. He's has the fit for film very well. And I would love to see him do more films. Currently, Iron Lung, very good. Probably one of my favourite horror films of all time now because it does its job very well. I don't have notes or anything. This is a fucking ramble and a half that I will edit and die editing because fucking hell, my own voice. The film is obviously an adaptation of the game Iron Lung by David, insert pronunciation of name here, please.
David Szymanski.
Because I can't say it and I've never heard anyone say it, so I still don't know how to say it. Sorry, David. The original game, Iron Lung, I can't remember specifically when it came out. It came out in 2022. I remember this game coming out. It was great. I already was kind of keeping up with David and his work because I love Dusk to bits. I think Dusk is probably one of the best retro shooters ever, and it is. It is. There's no fight about that one. It just is. It's just one of the best. Will still be one of the best. He's very good at what he does, even in these small random projects like Squirrel Stapler and Pony Factory, which was with his brother, and there's another one, Butcher's Creek. It's pretty good. I quite like the overall aesthetic of that game. It's very grimy, very Manhunt, actually. It has that kind of feel to it. That and Condemned. I'm a fan of David and his work. I really like it. He just has a thing, and it's very enjoyable. Iron Lung, when it first came out, I initially glazed over people playing it because I didn't know who made it. And the way people were selling their videos in a way with like their thumbnails and the titles and stuff wasn't very convincing. I finally got around to watching it. I don't think it was Markiplier's video that I saw, but I did see his video eventually. And when I did watch it the first time, I thought it was haunting. I thought it was really good for such a simple, fairly short game, which doesn't have you do much more than going about taking pictures. I thought it was simple, it was good, it was very effective. Then a little bit later, obviously, film gets announced. Very hyped because the game is good. It is good, very good. After the lore update it became more interesting from someone who really likes games with stories and shit. It was just interesting to see it develop. And then having a film by Markiplier was a really cool announcement. And then it was just waiting and waiting and more waiting. And it was just waiting and waiting. And it was never too much of a slog to wait because Mark would talk about it or just mention it saying it's still a thing. It's still happening. Don't worry. Very much still a thing. It's just long. It's a long process making a film because he wasn't just directing it. He was starring in it. He had written it. He's editing it. He has his hands in everything with this film. And then, what was it? It was December now when that final trailer came out. Hype, amazing. It's a really good trailer. It skips over a lot of problems modern trailers have. Like a lot of modern horror trailers, a lot of modern trailers in general show too much of a film, way too much of a film. Actually, it kind of ruins the viewing process because if you go over at trailers for films that you're excited for, like me, if it's one of those trailers, you've kind of already seen a lot of the film, a lot of the core points of the film, or at least it's enough to make a judgment, make an assessment, make a guess, an educated guess about where this film is going. The Iron Lung trailer doesn't do that. It gives you a few key points, but they're points you can pick up from the game. You're a convict. You're in a submarine, you're down in a blood ocean. The trailer didn't give away a lot in a very good way. It left it all very open for the viewing, for the final viewing, for when it actually came out. When the trailer first dropped, there wasn't many cinemas showing it, as in they were all in America. It was like, 50 in America, I think, something like that. And then it grew and it grew and it grew and it grew. Eventually it came over to England. Very exciting. It's a stunning success for a YouTuber film. And it's a bit different than something like, I want to say the names of the Raka brothers who did Talk to Me and is it Bring Her Back? Two films I haven't seen but I've heard amazing things about and really should see at some point. They're a bit of a different case because unlike Markiplier here, they aren't in front of the camera for once, and their YouTuber title, their title of being an influencer, of being a YouTuber, of being that thing, didn't follow them over to this film. They had a production house, they had a publisher, they were more of the traditional route. Obviously, they had a fan base who would have known about them doing this, but if you didn't know it was them directing it, you wouldn't really have known through like the advertising and the trailers, because it was just advertised as a horror film, as a pretty intriguing horror film. Again, I still need to see it. I haven't seen it. That's my bad. But for Markiplier's film, he was the promotion. Like, him and his fan base were the promotion. His channel is where the trailer came from. He was the main source of information. He was his own marketing team. He was his own publisher. So it was all on him. You can't quite him from the film, because he is the film. So you can't quite separate YouTuber from this. Well, that's what I thought initially, but then I've actually gone and seen the film. I want to see it again before it leaves cinemas, because that would be really cool. And I kind of forgot it was a Markiplier film. I've kind of forgot it was Markiplier who made it. Obviously, he's there front and foremost, so I'm always seeing it, so there's something at the back of my mind saying, this is Markiplier. Isn't this cool? But it does such an effective job of standing by itself. Yes, it's based off of a game, and it is known it's based off a game. It's in the marketing, but apart from that, it's its own standalone thing that is adapting a game. It stands on its own 2 feet as a film, which any adaptation for a game should do, because other video game adaptations can't stand on their own 2 feet because they either change too much and make it bad for the original audience, i.e. Silent Hill, Return to Silent Hill, fucking awful, hate that film, and it was only like an hour and 40. It's too long. There's a supposed director's cut that could be a thing for that film. Don't do it, that's not worth it. It's an awful film. You cannot save that with any more footage. That will not work, like, at all. That will not, no. Silent Hill 2 is a great game. It's got a great story. It could very easily be adapted into a film, in my opinion. Tried to stand by itself, and in the process changed too much. Iron Lung doesn't do that. It doesn't have a lot to change, for one. It's such a simple, effective setup. When I first saw the length of Iron Lung, of it being, 2 and a bit hours? 2 hours 20? Or something like that? It's a long film. I initially had this kind of dread of, I'm going to probably sit in the cinema and be bored near the end of it, because like, what can you do in this setting? But then I sit down in the cinema, 2 hours later, it's gone very quickly. I've had a good time. It's engrossed me. It's keeping me attached to that screen, to that plot, to Mark for the entire film. It's all Mark. You don't leave him. You barely leave him. I think there's one time you leave his side, and we're seeing a flashback of a younger version of him. So, oh my god, how it's kept interesting throughout the entire film. I don't know how they did it, but it worked. It was very good. It was immaculate for how well it kept me invested. If you don't know anything about Iron Lung or the film or whatever, it's a submarine built on a space station sent down into an ocean of blood to do research to find anything to help the last stragglers of the human race in this part of the universe, because there is something that's happened called the Quiet Rapture, where it's never made quite clear whether it's all the stars and planets have disappeared or the people that we're following in Iron Lung were the ones that disappeared. Mark plays a character called Simon in the film. In the game, you're just a generic convict. Either way, it's a convict being sent down in a submarine, an old, sturdy yet shit submarine made of like scrap and random bullshit they can scavenge from space stations. The submarine has to get welded shut from the outside. In the games, it feels more like, I say the games plural, the game, it feels more like an execution. And it is sort of in the film, but there is more of an option for freedom in the film. Whereas in the game, it always feels a little bit like maybe freedom and survival was never an option. In the film, Simon is quite often given the chance to go free. He's led further along, and these people do want to see him free by the end of it, but spoilers, doesn't happen. He doesn't go free, but he does serve a greater purpose for humanity, which I think is a really good ending. It was a really good ending. It was an amazing ending in the games and in the film. The convict, or Simon, he's navigating the ocean of blood blind, nearly, but he does have a X-ray X-ray camera that when he presses a button, it lights up and shows a snapshot of what's directly in front of the submarine. And in the games, that's where the gameplay stops, to be honest. You are just going to coordinates on a map, finding points of interest until you get to one of the last ones, and then the game ends with the jump scare of the big fish, the frog. In the film, it follows the first few beats of the game. Like, we start off the film with Mark descending into the ocean of blood. We hear the same dialogue from the game. He has a bit of a back and forth with her before he gets put into the ocean of blood. But once he's in the ocean, he's by himself and he goes around to these points of interest and eventually he finds a skeleton. They don't expect the skeleton to be down there. So once he says, hey, I've found a fucking skeleton, there was something living down here, they pull him up, they look at the skeleton picture and like, oh, holy shit, you're going back down there to get a sample. He is a little bit angry that they're not freeing him because he's found something. That was the way they described him, is he has to find something and then he comes up and then he's free. That was kind of how he sees it. They don't do that. He gets angry. He then presses the button for the camera, taking a snapshot of the people in front of him. And by this point, he doesn't know it's an X-ray camera. So he's just irradiated the entire crew. You know, he feels super fucking guilty over that. Really guilty, and it helps drive him a little bit. That he actually feels a bit more responsible, and he feels like there's a definite shift in his character a bit, with a bit more guilty and a bit more willing to do stuff. He's always pushing for his freedom. That doesn't leave him. And he feels a bit more of a drive to now help more. But yeah, they send him back down with a sample collector, and then when he goes to the point of the skeleton, he discovers it's moved down a little bit. They say it was like an earthquake because it's said that the floor of the ocean isn't like a solid rock or anything. It's more like congealed blood, so it can slip and it can slide and it can move and shift. And they say the skeleton only moved because the floor slipped. He does the thing, he rams it. We have never left Mark's side. We are watching him do his tasks in the submarine. We're watching him press photos, watching him move the sub, watching him mark out stuff on the map, and it's amazing how much you keep with it. You keep invested in him and his journey in the sub and his tasks and him finding shit. There's a really effective scene where he finds the skeleton for the first time. I'm not sure if it's for the skeleton or later on where he actually sees the monster itself, but it's a montage of him doing his tasks. And side note, the way Mark has weaved in these slightly slower moments with the montages, I thought was really effective. In the film, when initially watching, I felt a little bit all over the place with the timings, but then as I realized what was happening with like, oh, we're seeing it from Simon's perspective, so of course it feels like this. Of course time is a bit weird because he's trapped in a fucking submarine. He doesn't have a clock, he doesn't have anything. He has no concept of time. Of course time is going to feel really all over the place for him. We experience his fears, his thoughts, his hallucinations. When he's back down for the second time, he finds the skeleton again after searching for it. He rams it and they try to pull him back up, but something pulls him back down. He's now in this separate cave away from where the ship's damaged. He's damaged. He eventually gets up and restarts the ship. I really like how consistent the film is with its logic. As in, he uses the light from the camera screen to light up the submarine, and he uses that a lot throughout this next scene of him rebooting the ship. And I just thought that was really cool, having an actual tangible thing in the scene lighting up the ship accurately. I think that was just really cool. Seeing him crawl under the ship was really claustrophobic. This entire film is claustrophobic, but I guess that's expected. There are these few moments where he sees things. He hallucinates this guy, this kind of, not mutated guy, but kind of like, when I first saw it, it looked like a clicker from The Last of Us. The way it was there were like growths, and they weren't mushrooms, but it had, for the brief moment we saw it, it looked like a clicker from The Last of Us. Knowing the ending of the film, I think I kind of understand what it was supposed to be. From here on out, Simon really loses his mind. He starts losing concept of reality. He starts hearing people over the intercom. Since we're seeing it from his perspective is inherently unreliable for quite a significant chunk of this film. And by unreliable, you're never quite sure what is real in the submarine anymore. I can't remember when he discovers the computer terminal in the submarine, but he does find there's a computer terminal. He also finds a second submarine. I think it's SM-8 or something like that. I'm not going to look it up because this is just me fucking yapping. He finds this submarine which the terminal tries to download, but since he doesn't have the proper authorizations yet, it can't fully download it, and that becomes important in a second.
Shinji, crank that, soldier boy.
I don't know how to put it. It's a weird frog fish thing. I don't know how to put it. The design of the film is fucking terrifying. I don't know how to put it. If I can find a picture, I'll put it here. It's a significant step up. It's a really good design, in my opinion, and I love seeing. Every time he took a photo, it got further and further back, and that was just. I mean, number one, of course it did, but number two, it was just cool to see that the blood is kind of like some sort of connection to a cosmic entity. It's, to me, it feels like it's some part of like a greater digestive system, or like we're going through like a vein of some sort. Maybe not literally, but that's kind of the vibe. So he goes and explores all of this bit, and eventually he starts hearing the voice of a supposedly trapped girl in the ocean, and she takes him to this area where he sees this glowing light. And there's a big thing made about this light of that but it's definitely otherworldly, godlike in a way, maybe divine light, sort of. In the games, this is also a thing. It's a thing that you can find in the games. It's one of the secret ones. In the film, let me just describe the scene first. He sees the light, and a little bit later, we realise that the voice isn't another trapped human. It's actually the voice of the creature. The light kind of burns a hole through the submarine, and then following after the submarine being essentially split in two, by the looks of things, the creature itself comes crashing through the submarine in like these small bursts of slow motion, and we see Mark look at the eye of the creature, and it's such a cool scene. Like, it was one of my favourite shots throughout the entire film, was this bit of this massive, nearly incomprehensible creature crashing through half of the ship, and it looks so cool. And immediately after that, we get the trailer shot, the first trailer shot of Mark rising from the ocean of blood, and then he looks up to the sky, and it's got this like these lightning, and we see, I don't know how to put it, but I'm guessing it's like some ancient god. Kind of ironic considering the guy who did the music for this film, Andrew Holsholt, the GOAT, did the music for Doom Eternal: The Age of Gods. Different point. We see this creature, he just looks up to this light, and then he wakes up back in the ship, and it's a brief moment, really. It's not long at all. It's one of my favourite parts of the film, because it looks amazing. The cinematography in this film, for being essentially all set within the submarine, is so good. Some of these shots look so good. The lighting, the aesthetics, the grunginess of the ship, the very muted colours, and the red of the blood. It's so effective. It's such a good looking film. But I'm not here to do a fucking full recap. That's not the point. Go watch the film. Go watch the fucking film if you want to know the plot of the film. Go watch the film. And his only mission is to make sure the other people left on Eden get this data. That's his only mission. He wants to serve a purpose now. He's accepted that he's going to die in this ocean. This is where he's going to die. But he wants to have a better purpose. He wants to feel like he's served a purpose to humanity. Because throughout this film, he's a bit pessimistic, which makes sense. He's a bit pessimistic, and he's kind of saying, this is it. This is game over for us. We are the last of humanity in this universe. Might as well call it quits. There's no point in trying to get much further. We can't really do much. We are kind of fucked here, guys. What are we gonna do? But that kind of changes when he realizes he can serve a purpose and help his people, because the film ends with Mark getting the black box safe in a way. When the blood starts filling the submarine, we realize it's living. It starts creating these tendrils. It starts producing oxygen. It latches onto him, and it attaches him to the pipes of the ship. He's able to rip one arm off fairly free, but he takes off his other arm. He rips off his other arm because it's eating into him as well. The blood is eating into him. It's a really good body horror bit, to be honest, because he's falling apart. His bits are coming off. Like, the main bit is his arm, but we see a little bit earlier before that, blood drips on his face, and it cuts into him. It digs into him. It eats away a part of his face. Not much of it, like a small slit on his forehead, but it does serious damage. It's trying to take him apart. But at the end of the day, he does get the black box into a position where the rest of humanity can find it, and it is implied that they did find it sitting on the ocean ceiling, the top of the ocean, floating. My only problem with the film especially watching in cinema, was overall some of the dialogue should be a bit muffled. It was a bit muffled for me because occasionally it overlapped with, like, near the end of the film where the creature is speaking to Simon and also Eva, I still don't know. When they're both having a conversation together, it's kind of hard to hear both sides of it. But then also, I think that kind of helped my personal viewing experience of it because it's from the perspective of Simon, and if we don't know what's going on, he also doesn't know what's going on. So it does kind of make sense, although some of the dialogue explaining some of the lore and some of the worlds was missed or kind of difficult to interpret only because I couldn't fucking hear it. This film does an amazing job of keeping us in one setting, doing, to be honest, a few small, fairly menial tasks, and it keeps it interesting throughout the entire film. Mark himself, as the lead performer of this film, does an amazing job. So much so, I kind of forget it's Markiplier at the end of the day. It's stupid how good he does in this, and I hope he just continues to do directing and, like, performing and stuff. To me, he already, I think I said this at the beginning, he already proved himself as a worthy performer in Heist of Markiplier, Space of Markiplier, and a few other things. I mean, within the context of those series, he's still partly the Markiplier persona from this. It's a brand new character. He's playing a new role, and he does it really well. And he kind of had to do it really well. Otherwise, I feel like a lot of this film, all of this film would probably hit less if we didn't mesh with the character, if we didn't sympathize with the character, if we didn't like him, if we didn't understand him properly, if we weren't truly in his shoes, this film would not have worked. But Markiplier sells it. He sells the hell out of it. It's fucking amazing. All of the other performances, although visually we only see a few people briefly, very, very briefly, through the porthole of the submarine, the voices are really good. The voice acting is amazing. Troy Baker's in this film, which kept making me laugh each time I saw it, because I was like, oh my god, this guy's in fucking everything. He's obviously really good in the times where it's just him speaking to Mark, because, well, it's Troy Baker. Troy Baker's just very good. He is very good. There's a reason why he's in everything, because he's really good. A lot of the other speaking roles are really good. The times we hear the monster speak to him, really good. My personal favourite part of this film was the sound design, ignoring the dialogue. A lot of the other sounds, and especially the soundtrack by Andrew Holshop, was amazing. It knows when to be quiet. It knows when to take up the scene a bit more. It knows when to intrude on your headspace a little bit more. It's very interesting hearing Andrew Holshop do a film soundtrack, because I'm quite familiar with Andrew Holshop's work on Dusk specifically, and The Ancient Gods as well. His other things with other games like Proteus, his remake of the original Doom 1 and 2 soundtracks that are on the current re-releases of those games, the Night Dive, whatever, the I don't know what to call it. It's funny seeing some of his mannerisms in this soundtrack. I say seeing, it's funny hearing his kind of industrial metal leanings in this soundtrack, but it's really good. It's really effective. It fits the tone perfectly, especially since he did the soundtrack for Dusk. It's kind of like a match made in heaven for a David Sabatsky story being scored again by Andrew Holshop. It's just really good. Yeah, Iron Lung, overall, very, very good film. It is now probably one of my favourite horror films, one of my favourite films. If and when it gets a physical release, I would love to hunt that down. I'd love to get that, because I really loved this film, and I have never been more inspired to write and make shit. It's very rare that happens from a film. A lot of films I see do get me a little bit inspired to do something, because that's just kind of how I work. I work in very small bursts of creativity, but sometimes I watch a film or video, or I see something, or I play something, and it gets me inspired to do shit, right? But it's rare that film has been doing that for me recently, and the only other time it's been doing that for me is Twin Peaks, of all things. Twin Peaks The Return specifically is a very big inspiration for my horror series on this channel, where that series is going and where it's kind of been left at the moment, heavily inspired by some of the stuff I saw in Twin Peaks The Return. And I am similarly inspired to do stuff because of this film, specifically because it's an independent film. I'm going to go on about this for a second. This film existing in so many cinemas across the world is a mind-boggling feat of independent filmmaking, because at its core, this film is independent. It was independently funded. It's an independent film standing by itself with no publishers, with no no. Big studio backing. It is Mark and his fan base have just got this. They've done the promotion. They've done all of the promotion, really. And it's gotten it to such great heights. Yeah. Go watch Markiplier's Ironlung film. It's one of the best horror films to come out in a long time. And my favourite horror films have come out in the past few years. Longlegs is one of my favourites, and it will be one of my favourites forever. Ironlung is amazing. Go watch it. Go watch it. Form your own opinion. I'm only putting my opinion out there because why the fuck not? Let's give it a go. Go watch it. Go watch the fucking film. Go watch the stupid fucking film. Go watch it. It's really good. It's really good. Yeah. No more of this shit. I'm tired.